Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Chris Flaherty, John Vias, and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. We now know who is running for office in Burlington's 2022 town election. Last Friday was the deadline for candidates to return the necessary signatures to the town clerk's office, so the ballots are now set, and a couple of long-term public servants have decided not to run again this year. In the school committee race, there are 2 open seats and 3 people have returned papers to be on the ballot. They are incumbent Christine Monaco, first elected 1992, and challengers Jeremy Paul Brooks and Melissa Ann Massardo. Incumbent Thomas Murphy, first elected 1995, did not return papers. The only other townwide race that is competitive is for the Board of Health. Incumbent Dr. Ed Weiner, first elected in 1989, is running to keep his seat. 2 challengers, Janice Cohen and Gail DeMoore, have also returned papers. Longtime member Dr. Wayne Saltzman, first elected in 2007, is not running for re-election. Uncontested townwide races include incumbent moderator Bill Byer, incumbent assessor Catherine O'Neill, incumbent planning board members Barbara LaRue and Brenda Rappaport, incumbent library trustee Robert Neufeld, constable William Pepicelli, and newcomer Dennis Otis, and recreation commissioner member Stephen Nelson. There are also 2 people on the ballot for 2 open seats on the select board, incumbent Nick Priest and newcomer Mike Espeo, a current member of the planning board. The only competitive race for town meeting is in precinct 6, where there are 7 candidates for 6 open seats. For more detailed information, check out our website at bcattv.org/bnews. The 22 Burlington town election will be held on Saturday, April 9, and the polls will be located at Burlington High School. As with all town elections, the polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thanks to a vote by the legislative body, town meeting members should do their duty and attend meetings or be expected to hit the pavement in search of signatures if they want to run for re-election. Unlike the vote, any town meeting member who wanted to run to keep their seat only had to send a letter to the town clerk's office stating their intention to run again. Non-incumbents looking to be placed on the ballot must collect 10 signatures from registered voters in their precincts. The 2 warrant articles voted on last week changed that if a town meeting member attends less than 50% of the meetings during their 3-year terms. Now, if they attend less than half the scheduled meetings, they are also required to collect signatures if they wish to have their name on the ballots. The proposal was put forward by town meeting member Betsy Hughes, who said in a letter to the body published in the warrant backup materials that she recognizes that most members perform the duties to which they are elected, but this would address the action of those who do not. Though most town meeting members who spoke about the proposal were in favor, there were a few who thought the measure was overreach. I think the spirit of this is well-intentioned, but I think this is over-regulating things, member Chris Murphy said. What happens when someone is impacted because they're getting cancer treatments or something? If they don't show up, other people should run against them and make it known they aren't a good member and they will lose their election. We are not the town meeting member police, and this is what it feels like. Others who supported the measure argued that most residents don't follow the workings of town meeting that closely and may not be aware their representatives are not in attendance. This change, they argued, would make that more obvious and work as a way of informing the public. They shouldn't be in hiding in the low visibility of our election process and getting by because people don't know they happen to be someone who doesn't go to meetings, member Monty Pearson said. This is a good way of highlighting that. In the end, the article passed by a clear majority. There's a new addition to the children's area at the Burlington Library. A handcrafted wooden train table, complete with a unique paint job, was donated through the Jackson Walsh Memorial Fund. The fund was set up in memory of Jackson Walsh, a 1.5-year-old who passed away in 2018 due to sudden unexplained death in childhood. Burlington Library Director Mike Wick spoke on the train table and the Walsh family's continuous support of the library and families in the community. BNews reporter Chris Flaherty has this report.
In December of 2018, 1.5-year-old Jackson Walsh passed away due to sudden unexplained death in childhood. In his memory, his family set up the Jackson Walsh Memorial Fund to help support children in the community. Donations from the fund would go towards projects at the Burlington Library.
For them, giving back to the community through the library was a natural approach because they're trying to make an impact on the lives of children, and this is a perfect place for it because we integrate play and learning at the same time. So we've really appreciated that.
One of the projects initially discussed was a train table.
It was something that they wanted to hold on to for a later date because we've been kind of doing projects that are age appropriate for the age that Jackson would have been at the time that we make these improvements. So the first set of improvements that we made was the reading nook downstairs in the children's area of the library. And so that's, appropriate for very young children, of course, children of an older age as well. But now the train table is set up for preschool, toddlers, a little bit more age appropriate for the age that Jackson would have been.
The train table was unveiled in a private ceremony last month. The wood table was crafted by Jonathan Oda of Gunner Gray Furniture Fusion and painted by Jason Sautel of Black Bear Studios, with a custom design featuring familiar locations around Burlington. The table has been a welcome addition to the children's area of the library.
Every time I walk by, there's a group of kids who are playing. There's spaces in the train table where kids can crawl underneath it and pop up from the underside and access the middle of the table. They really like that. And, the parents have commented on it as well because the murals that we have painted on that table itself are representation of historic buildings in Burlington and buildings of significant note, like the library.
Library Director Michael Wick wished to express his gratitude to the Walsh family for their continued support of the library and families in the community.
I'm greatly appreciative of Harry and Michelle Walsh for everything that they've done for the library. They've taken what's a great tragedy in their lives and they've turned it around to this wonderful effort of giving back to the community and improving the lives of parents and children throughout Burlington and the surrounding areas. And more so than the train being delivered to the library, it's that dedication and that devotion to the community that I've found overwhelming.
Until next time, this is Chris Flaherty for BNEWS Weekly.
The members of HELPIS held their second annual teddy bear drive at Caldwell Banker, collecting 800 plush bears to give to children in need. BNews reporter went to check it out and has this look.
Those ambassadors of goodwill and generosity, the wonderful women of HELPIS, returned to Caldwell Banker on Friday, February 11th for their Valentine's Day Bear-a-thon, their second teddy bear drive. The Cambridge Street location filled its interior with over 800 plush bears to be donated to local children facing hardships such as homelessness, abuse, and neglect.
Last year was our first annual teddy bear drive. Joyce was kind of the inspiration for that. And we just thought we would see what we got. So we put it out to the communities, Burlington, the businesses in the local towns, and we were just asking for teddy bears for kids who are either in shelters or they're in hospitals recovering from significant illnesses. The first year we got 324 teddy bears, and this year we got 654 teddy bears for kids, for local kids.
And that number only increased as all 800 of them found homes. Named Citizen of the Year in 2019 by the town of Burlington, founder Joyce Delianis and her crew are dedicated to encouraging and promoting good and charitable deeds for the purpose of helping someone in need, along with saluting others who promote generosity and kindness.
The mission of HELPIS is to collect all the kindness, all the good people, and small act of kindness, and encourage all the good that we can encourage, and help as many as we can one at a time.
And the kindness doesn't end at collecting teddy bears of all different sizes. It keeps spreading, as HELPIS works with a variety of local organizations throughout the town of Burlington. They have accumulated hundreds of documented stories, providing inspiration and hope to those in need and those who are able to give. Their focus is to help families and children and work with other youth services and family organizations to carry out the charitable mission of Help Me Help Someone Incorporated.
A lot of schools, local schools, elementary, middle, and high school here locally. We have the high school in Woburn as well. Many teachers, nurses, principals, social workers, doctors from Children's Hospital, Mass General. They give us the need. It could be a pair of sneakers, it could be a sweatpants, a sweatshirt, it could be
A teddy bear?
a teddy bear, a teddy bear. It's endless.
When you can do something, no matter how big or small, to help someone else, and you do it expecting nothing in return, that's kindness.
From Caldwell Banker on Cambridge Street, this is John Bias for BNEWS Weekly.
Members of the Burlington Fire Department will be heading back to school for additional educational programs thanks to a grant from State Firefighting Agency. Chief Patterson is pleased to announce that the department has been awarded $8,230 in grant funding to support fire safety and education programs. The grant from the State Massachusetts Department of Fire Services will support fire prevention and education programs in schools and within Burlington's senior community. The Student Awareness of Fire Education program was awarded $5,175, while a Senior Safe program received $3,000. The funding gives fire departments the opportunity to work directly with students and senior citizens to educate them about fire safety. The safety lessons range from fire and life safety presentations and what to do if a fire alarm goes off in your home. Each program is tailored to the common issues of each age group, including general fire prevention reminders and safe practices in the home. The lessons taught in the school-based program are in line with the standards of both the Department of Elementary and Education, Health Curriculum Frameworks, and the State Department of Fire Services Curriculum Planning Guide. 26 years after the introduction of the SAFE program within schools, the rate of annual child fire deaths has decreased by 78%, according to the state's Department of Fire Services, which created and runs the program. In the latest segment of Society and Community, we take a look at the perspectives of both educators and students on how the history of people of color is taught at Burlington High School during Black History Month and throughout the year. Let's check it out.
February is Black History Month, and for a sense of how educators and students approach and view how history of people of color is handled here at Burlington High School, we spoke to a number of them for this segment of Society and Community.
Yeah, so I always like to think of it as, Black history is American history and, not necessarily just celebrated during the month of February. We like to have programs and practices and curriculums that reflect a diverse backgrounds, diverse perspectives, whether it's through texts, primary source documents, highlighting, people in different fields that have, had an impact on history. So it's nice to celebrate during the month of February, but I think we really try to make efforts to make sure that all year long and all during the school year, students can see themselves reflected in the various curriculums and practices that we have here at the high school.
Educators say that the teaching of Black history in all different cultures has changed over time.
I think in the span of my career, we've seen, in the case of Black history become American history. I think when I began my career, it was not the case that we saw as many representations of Black culture or any group's culture in textbooks, in materials, in videos. And so over I don't want to date myself too much, but over the last 25 years or so, we see a real clear presence in all the materials that we use and all the references that we make that allows us to really integrate Black history into all parts of what we offer as not just American history, but also world history itself.
There is also a push in the English department here at BHS to have students read about a diverse set of individuals and cultures.
The English department has spent significant time in the last few years to ensure that we have diversity of voice in our curriculum. We think it's exceptionally important to make sure that students can see both the truth of our history as well as have opportunities that they can, as Mr. Witten said, see themselves in the texts. So the importance of it is basically that it allows students to feel valued, validated, affirmed. It builds empathy, it builds a great sense of understanding, and it also allows students to look at different perspectives.
Members of the Burlington High School African American Student Association said they would like to see a greater emphasis on the study of the history of people of color.
Here in Burlington, they'll tell a little some things here and there and half truths and not tell the full story. And I guess I understand a lot of the things can be traumatizing, but I think it's important that we get the full story and hear even different perspectives from different stories that we've been told, and a lot of like Black historical figures like are not talked about enough. And so I think that as students we would appreciate more like to learn about different people who had like a lot of impact in the civil rights movement.
The students also say the curriculum should expand to include a wider array of cultures and peoples.
If we learn about all these other cultures, it would be super beneficial to not just us, but the people around us and like how we interact with each other, and the knowledge and wisdom we'll hold from just learning about different perspectives as well and different stories, because the world is a big place, and like to only know one part of it, it can be really dangerous, as we can turn ignorant and it'll cause worse things.
The Tenacity Challenge returned in the BHS School Committee room on February 15th as students were working diligently on this year's topic, voter rights. BNews reporter Robert Paris has this report.
On February 16th, the Burlington School Committee room was filled with students who are participating in this year's Tenacity Challenge.
So this year we have a group of 3 teams of students, and they could be up to 6 people on a team. And we have students in grades 9, 10, 11, and 12 all participating, and they elect to do this extra work and extra challenge. And they'll have 4 areas that they'll be competing in. One is history, another is creating an art mural, and then they have a literature competition, and they also have a math quiz bowl.
Each year the group is given a specific topic. This year's is voter rights and new laws being passed for voter suppression.
The students have to create a opinion argument based on that, and so we've been providing them different speakers and primary sources, all the way from Kentucky, an ACLU director, to their local representative, Ken Gordon. And then we have a professor today from Wellesley College, and we also have a voting rights advocacy group from Texas speaking today as well. So trying to give the kids a broad range of perspectives from around the country.
Senior Sarah and Junior Christian are always looking to learn something new from this extracurricular activity.
I'm just looking forward to like seeing different perspectives, and for like the teachers even to just help us improve like what we've been working on. I know we have like an art mural to do, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Stronger and closer relationships with my group, especially, and also like I'm gonna meet a bunch of more amazing people that I feel very grateful that I get to do. I know I'm gonna learn a lot, as I already am, even about our country. I'm gonna learn more with math and art as I'm doing those challenges. So that, along with building relationships with more people, will be really good for me.
From Burlington High School, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
The town of Burlington was designated a green community in early 2020 and received a designation grant of $172,000. This grant was recently used to upgrade the HVA system and energy efficiencies at the Burlington Public Library. In the spring of 2021, the town applied for a competitive grant with Green Communities and was awarded $164,000. In addition to this grant, the town received a combined total of $23,000 from Eversource and National Grid. Excuse me. By utilizing these grants, the town was able to upgrade the weatherization of 5 of the 6 public schools: Fox Hill Elementary, Francis Wyman, Pine Glen, Memorial, and Marshall Simons Middle School at no cost to the town. This weatherization project began in mid-November 2021 and was completed in early February 2022. All schools benefited from air sealing, door weather stripping, door sweep installation, pipe insulation, and at Pine Glen, door sidelight and transom improvements. These efforts are designed to help the town reach their goal of a 20% reduction in energy by 2025. Guidelines set forth by the Department of Energy Resources state that all buildings should be weatherized prior to heating, ventilation, and air conditioning improvements. Now that the schools have been weatherized, the town can focus on upgrading the HVA system equipment to be more efficient in those schools. We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown for the latest forecast to see if this mix of warm days and severe winter weather, 50-degree swings, will continue in the week ahead. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading in towards the end of February and the start of March, and actually next Tuesday, March 1st, is the first day of meteorological spring, which is a sure sign that we've just about made it towards the end of winter. However, over the next 7 to 10 days here in the Burlington area is going to feel anything but spring-like. We're going to have a real Arctic plunge after a pretty potent weather system moves through on Friday with heavy snow and sleet. So, for those of you who like the warm weather, this is not, unfortunately, the forecast for you. As we start our period on Friday, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the low 40s. We're going to be about 10 degrees below that, again with some heavy snow and sleet moving into the Burlington area. Not sure right now exactly how much we're going to have, but it's definitely going to be plowable as it looks right now. As we head towards the end of the period, getting in towards the middle of the first week of March, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the mid-40s. And unfortunately, looking at the weather models, I think we're going to be seeing temperatures nearly 20 degrees cooler than that. So a real Arctic plunge as we head towards the end of the period. The only thing that really denotes that we're heading towards spring is the length of day, as the days keep getting longer and longer. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area over the next 7 to 10 days in terms of temperatures and precipitation. Looking at our temperature map again, nothing really surprising here after the January and February that we've had in the Burlington area. We're expecting pretty good chances of below average temperatures. But looking at the next map, looking at our precipitation chances, they are calling for pretty high chances of below average precipitation. Now, I'm not sure how that's really going to pan out, as we're going to have a pretty moisture-laden system moving through here on Friday with a lot of heavy wet snow and sleet moving through the area. So we'll have to really see if that pans out. But again, once we get by this system on Friday, it looks like it's going to be pretty clear sailing as we head towards the end of the period, albeit pretty cold out there. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up again on Friday. This is our real weather action day here in the Burlington area. It is going to be cold out there, very snowy. In fact, we could have some snowfall rates on the 1 to 2 inch per hour range during the morning commute. Very sloppy out there. We're going to see some gradual warming during the day, which may bring some sleet mixed into the picture, but it's just going to make for a real cement-like snow out there. And again, right now, best estimates are looking for 8 to 12 inches of heavy wet snow here in the Burlington area. Thankfully, we're not going to be seeing that strong of a wind and really no type of coastal flooding at all. So that's great news if you're at the coastline. Now, once that storm clears out of here, it is going to get cool out there. It is going to get very cold, especially at night. As you can see on our 7-day forecast, we have a lot of nights down here in the single digits. And probably once we get by that storm on Friday, the only chance of maybe some snow squalls will probably be the middle of the next work week, as we see temperatures go up into the 30s over the weekend, but then go down and plunge down probably into the 20s for the rest of the period. So some real cold weather out there. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. On March 1st, from 6 to 9 p.m., the Made in Burlington store will be having an event called Craft and Chat. Pre-registration is required. For more information and to register, go to the Made in Burlington website. On March 2nd, from 7 to 8 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having a virtual financial workshop. Pre-registration is required. To register, go to burlingtonpubliclibrary.org. On March 6th, from 1 to 3 p.m., 3rd Avenue is having live ice sculptures on the green. Everyone is welcome, and the event is free.
The regular winter sports season has come to a close, and some Red Devil teams are battling it out in the preseason, in the postseason. For all the latest action, we go to BNEWS reporter Anthony Matos for this week's sports report.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, and this is a weekly sports report. The winter season has wind down here at BHS, and a number of teams finished off the season this week. The postseason awaits for a couple of them. Girls track will be attending the 36th annual MIA All-State Championship meet on February 26th. Seniors Brooke Bibbo, Elizabeth Breevy, Caitlin Carney, Jessica Joseph, Jolene Russo, Junior Grace Hannafin, sophomores Char Collins, Hope Hannafin, Cora Laverty, and freshman Athena Walensky will be at the meet. Girls basketball went to Waltham on February 21st, where they won 62-47. Top scorers from the game were junior Olivia Pena with 21 points and Savannah Scally with 19 points. On the 23rd, they finished the regular season at Boston Latin where they lost 46-55. Burlington already qualified for the postseason and finished the regular season at 10-10. The Red Devils had their final regular season game at home against Melrose on February 17th where they won 53-38. Burlington finished the regular season at 15-5 and are awaiting the seeding for the MIA postseason tournament. Senior Shane Mahoney has been named the Middlesex League Freedom Division League's most valuable player. Other competitors getting recognition as Middlesex League Freedom Division All-Stars are senior Logan Shula, junior Eric Sakaya, and sophomore Cedric Rodriguez. Girls hockey, the Red Devils had a home meet against Malden Catholic School for girls on February 16th where they won 6-5. On February 21st, they went to Bedford Edge Rink to face Josh Sheen where they won 6-1. They finished the regular season on the 23rd against Wayland High School. We go to the highlights.
The final regular season game came for girls ice hockey when they had a home meet against Wayland. Shay McDonald scored all of the Red Devil goals in the game, one in the first, and 3 in the second. Final score, 4-1 Burlington.
Burlington finishes the regular season at 12-8 and are awaiting seeding for the MIA playoffs. Boys hockey headed to the Bridgewater Ice Arena to face Bridgewater Raynham on February 17th, where they won 5-2. On February 19th, they had a home meeting against the Wildcats of Wilmington, where they won 9-1. During the 29th annual Ed Cahoon tournament, the team played host to Chelmsford Lions on February 21st, where they lost 4-1. On the 23rd, the team had their final game of the season against Medford in the consolation round of the Ed Cahoon tournament. We have some highlights.
Boys hockey also had their final game of the season against Medford in the Ed Cahoon tourney. First period, Charlie Andriolo got the Devils on the board 1-0. Behind him was freshman Seamus McMakin, who made it 2-0. End of the first, 2-1 Burlington. The Red Devils added another goal in the second from junior Ryan Kane, and another came in the third by senior CJ Hacker. 4-2 was your final Devils.
Burlington finishes the season at 7-14-1. The matchup was the last for head coach Bob Conceition as he announced his retirement after 35 years. You can read the full article at bcattv.org/sports. Red Devil Wrestling had 4 athletes compete in the Division III State Championship in Pittsburgh over the February 19th weekend. Senior Tim Vadney became a state champion after he prevailed against all of his 4 opponents. He will be competing as the #1 seed in the All-States this coming weekend and now has 38 wins and 1 loss during this season. Other competitors were senior Ronan Noak, who finished 4-1 on the day. Noak lost his only match to Sean Norton of Scituate. He finished 3rd place at the 195 weight class after wins over Joe LaMantia of Wakefield and Paxton Green of Tewksbury. Senior Nick Silva of the 138 weight class and junior Marcus Tucci of the 182 weight class both won their matches as well. The Red Devils finished 14th out of 55 teams. Noak will join Vadney in the All-States meet this weekend. You can check out all the schedules at arborlive.com and type in Burlington High School. You can also check out the MIA website for upcoming tournament information. For more Red Devil action, go to the BNEWS Sports section at bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. That's all for Weekly Sports Report. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo was a demonstration of seizing the day, or as the Romans like to say, carpe diem. It comes from Lindsay Collins and features her daughter, Allie, enjoying a warm winter day before our latest snowstorm at the playground at Rahonis Park. It's always good to get outside and enjoy the weather when you can, and to play golf as well. Thanks for the photo, Lindsay. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your winter activities, a family trip, or just everyday moments. Whatever you think is interesting and want to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, and that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, John Vias, Chris Flaherty, Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, Gretchen Carey, Peter Brown, and Anthony Matos, thank you for joining us.